What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just want to make a quick video about the spring game and my impressions of the game. So we'll go and hop right into it, man. It was basically three big negatives I took away from that game. Number one, Jarrett Garantano. A lot of you guys have been saying it, and I've been trying to defend the guy and go to bat for him. His pre-snap game is probably among the worst I've ever seen. It's like he's not seeing anything pre-snap. Like, you're looking around, you always do your little that show your eyes when you're doing this, but you're not making any adjustments. Like, if you see the blitz coming, how about you check out of it? How about you use a hard counter too, if you need to give yourself a chance to see what's going on. Make some pre-snap adjustments, please, so we can have a chance to win. Because you're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to do that. Okay, we're not always gonna have a play call for whatever the defense is gonna do. Okay, we can't predict what they're gonna do, so you have to be able to get us out of those bad plays. I think he looked solid when he actually threw the ball. He made some overthrows early on, which everyone I've talked to says that's generally quarterbacks early in the game. You'll see them overshoot guys a lot because the adrenaline's so high. And I think we saw that from him. He was overshooting guys. But he needs to get better there. Brian Maurer actually looked pretty good. A lot of you guys have been saying he should be starting. I think maybe he should. I think he's a guy who I could tell from his film, he doesn't necessarily wow you with his physical tools. He's not going to wow you in practice, but he's a guy who I've said put him in the game and put him under the lights, and he's going to be a playmaker for us. And I saw that same moxie out of him on Saturday, and he may end up needing to be our guy. Who knows? That's still a decision to be made, but he may give us the best chance to win. I think if Garantano comes out and starts slow, you got to give Maurer a serious look, serious look. JT Stroud has a live arm, but he's not gonna. He seems kind of be in the same phase as Garantano, where he can't read defenses and can't make pre-snap reads. He doesn't really have that it factor about him. I think Maurer has that it factor about him. Number two, O-line. Still looks awful. We looked a little bit better in terms of knowing who to block. Okay, didn't see people running free. I actually saw guys get to the second level a couple times, which is something we didn't really see last year at all. But we're still weak there, and I think it's really a lack of talent. It's a lack of talent, a lack of strength. We gotta get stronger. I know, hey, I trust Fitz. I know he's doing what he can there, and he's basically having to build these guys from the ground up. But we need to get stronger there. Wanya Morris did not look good at left tackle. He's getting whipped. He plays with bad posture. He's too high majority of the time, and if he's not too high, he's ducking his head and he's whiffing. So he's not the answer at left tackle. I'll tell you that right now. I know it's one practice. He could have had a bad day, okay? And this goes for the entire video. It's one practice that we saw. So this doesn't go for what the coaches have seen all spring. Maybe this is just an anomaly. But he looked pretty piss poor, I would say. He's better suited, in my opinion, to be a guard. He's not really a guy that needs to be playing on space, in my opinion. He needs to get stronger, and he's played better pad level. And if he can do that, I think that he can be a pretty solid guard for us. He can play guard for us. Now, that opens up the question, who would our tackles be? In a perfect world, it'd be Trey Smith and Darnell Wright. We don't live in a perfect world. So we have to assume Trey Smith won't be back. Who would the other left tackle be? That's a great question. And Wanya may give us the best chance, actually, out of what we have. He probably doesn't give us the best chance, which is it's not great news, to tell you that, because he was getting whipped. When he was getting beat, he was getting beat so freaking bad. Like, he was getting sat down in the quarterback's lap with just one arm. Guys with one arm in him, right up under his freaking throat. And he was getting sat down on the ground like a little baby. So, I mean, he needs to improve. He needs to improve big time. He needs to get stronger, spend a lot of time in the weight room from now to the start of the season. Guards, Omir Johnson was solid. His weight is definitely an issue. He needs to get bigger. It's going to help him out a whole lot to be able to move the pile. And Rajan Calbert, I think, had the best day out of anybody on the O-line. I think he's probably the only one that I would say needs to be starting at that group. Like, he needs to be starting. The other four, I think you can replace any of them, but Rajan had probably the best day. He looked pretty solid in pass protection, and he looked pretty good in run game. He needs to be starting at one of the guards. And in center, Ryan Johnson, he had some moments where he looked decent, but overall, I think he looked pretty bad. I would rather see Rum Carvin in there for him. But again, it's just one practice. It's tough to tell, but the O-line really looked bad, especially in the run game. We couldn't run the ball because we couldn't get any movement on the O-line. And that could have something to do with defense line as well. Now, and Marcus Tatum at right tackle did not look good either. Even though he's put on all that weight, supposedly up to 315, he still looks like he's weak and slow. And we need someone else to play that right tackle spot. Because if we're relying on him, I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't know. I just don't. He was going against Darrell Taylor most of the time, so that could be a factor. I think Darrell Taylor's elite, and hopefully he breaks out this season. So we'll kind of see. Like I said, it's tough to tell if it's a bad O line or a good D line that's causing these issues. I think it's a tad bit of both. Tad bit of both. And then the third negative, big negative, I'd say is no pass rush. Not really enough pass rush for me, especially with the way the O-line struggled. You would think that the pass rush was there, but we're still not getting to the passer. We're not getting to the passer enough. No rushes really are emerging. I saw John Mincy, number 95. He's going against the twos. Looked like he was showing some creativity and some quick twitch about him. And he showed that last year as well, so I expect him to do something. DeAndre Johnson showed a little flash here and there. But other than that, and of course Darrell Taylor, but other than those three, really no one really stood up and did anything. So need to find some pass rushers to help us out defensively. But the D-line was solid in the run game. They did not get moved from their spot. We couldn't run the ball at all. And that's, like I said, O-line and D-line had a lot to do with that. But I like what I saw from that group. You know, Matthew Butler, Aubrey Solomon, and Emma Gooden. They look pretty good. Didn't get moved. We're getting some penetration. They look pretty solid. I think backers look solid. Shannon Reed actually looked pretty good. Number 21 looked pretty good. He's still kind of lost sometimes. There's a couple plays when everyone's playing man coverage but him. And so you say, well, man coverage is probably the easiest coverage to play, so what in the world are you doing? But he was solid for the most part. Dan Batuli, I mean, you know, he was rock solid, of course. Was all over the field. And that's something that you kind of notice is the team speed defensively. It looks like it's really improved. Whenever we got a ball out to the flats, the defense was just all over it. It wasn't really any yards after catch that they could get. We had 2 or 3 guys that are already there. So that's what you want to see. You want to see that type of speed, and I saw that a lot. Secondary looked pretty good. Alontae Taylor, they picked on him. He gave up several completions down the field, but he was in good position. And we have some big, strong receivers, Josh Palmer and Jennings and Callaway. Those guys are going to make those catches on a lot of guys across the country. So he's there in position, that's like 90% of the battle now. That last 10% finishing the play is what he needs to work on, which I'm sure he will. He's a great talent and a hard worker. The other corner, Bryce Thompson, he looks so good. I don't remember even seeing him. Like, they even throw it his way. So he was rock solid. I don't think he gave up a catch all game. So big time. Tip my hat to him. Nigel Warger looked good at safety, and then Theo Jackson was the other safety starting. But I would probably rather see D'Angelo Gibbs. He's a guy who's 6'1", about 210, and I mean, if you go back and watch the film, he's probably the best athlete on the field right now. He is ridiculous. He is the truth. He can be a real game changer for us. I just hope he's cleared to play. But if he is, he really gives us a spark there. And then actually on the second team, number 29, Brandon Davis, I believe is his name. I think he's a redshirt freshman. He actually pretty good too. Reminds me a lot of Jansen Jackson. If you guys remember him, played for Tennessee under Lane Kiffin, I think we're number 15. Reminds me a lot of him. Not as big. He's probably only about 5'10 and a half, 183 or so, but he's plays hard, is in the right spot, loves to come up and hit. I mean, I like the guy a lot. He really stood out on film to me. So he may play a little bit as well. Of course, Tech McCullough having 2 picks is huge. You love to see that. And then speaking of freshman, Mill Keaton had a nice grab on the sideline to call it incomplete. He had a nice catch. He's going to help us out. Needs to get bigger. Juan Burrell's looking pretty good out there. He was in tight coverage. Chris Akporogane looks solid. He's not going to help us this year, but he was solid in his blocking. He was solid. Jackson Lowe, didn't really see much of him, but overall, a good group. We still have guys coming in, so expect Savion Williams and Darrell Milton to help bolster that D-line, and then Jackson Lampley and Darnell Wright and Melvin McBride to help bolster that O-line. So we still have chances to improve. We're gonna get Tyus Fields back and gonna get Eric Gray back and those guys. So we still have room to improve. We're gonna get some guys in, but right now we need to focus on quarterback play, pre-snap reads, O-line, just all around O-line, and then D-line getting some more pass rush. And I think we have a chance to have a pretty solid season and maybe win 8-9 games. I think we do look better now than we did at this point last season for sure, and probably even better now than we did probably at any point last season. So that's encouraging, but we still have a long way to go to get to where we need to be. But that's my take on the spring game. Let me know you guys' thoughts below. Please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.